it's Kat and I am back today for my project pan updates. This is my August update. I'm reflecting on how I went in the last month and I've done pretty well. Now I think this is actually more like a 3-week update. I might be wrong, but I feel like I did my project pan update sort of well into July. So this is actually not quite a full month, but I thought I'd check in anyway, just because I have had such a hard time filming. Normally my partner will take our kids to his parents' place on Sundays, give me time to either do some filming, do some editing, do some housework, do whatever. The problem is our car is broken down and we haven't been able to use the car in like 3 weeks, and it is driving me absolutely crazy. So whenever I have a time where I can film, I need to seize the day, and that is now. And I have to say as well that I've got a couple of lip products missing. Now I have, over the last 24 hours, been searching all my pants pockets, all my jacket pockets, all my bags. I even searched the car that I haven't used in over 3 weeks. I searched everything to try to find these lip products and I can't find them. Now, 2 of them I can't remember using in the last week or 2, but one I do remember using it last week. I just don't know where it is. So if I come across those, I will insert updates when I talk about lip products, but just be aware that there are a few lip products missing. Luckily, I have an abundance of lip products in this project, so I can keep making some progress somewhere, but it is frustrating to say the least. I don't know if they're going to end up in the garden, like that time that I found my lipstick behind a pot plant. I don't know if they're going to end up in my washing machine, but we've got to move on anyway. So let's talk about products that I've used up. First one is a lip product. So it's one of my Hourglass lipsticks. This is the shade You Are My, which was that sort of cooler tone nude. I got to use this up because I've been missing lip products in the past week, that I was able to use this quite a lot. I'll have on the screen where I was up to, but now it is like completely flat. So that is done. Good thing about this packaging is I can actually pull it out and get refills. So this packaging doesn't go to waste. It does look a bit grubby though. The only part that's metal is this actually sort of base of it, which is quite heavily weighted. And it's a little bit different in color to the lid. And the lid is sort of like a metal finish plastic, and they don't match and they look a bit funny, but it is what it is. So I could potentially buy a refill from the Mecca website. They don't have them in store, but you can buy them online and actually refill this with a different shade. I think I also have a couple of refill options just floating around my lipstick drawers. So there's that, but this is done. Now, I'm not going to introduce another lip product to replace that because I already have a couple other ones in this project, plus the 3 that I'm currently missing. So that's enough. I don't need more. Maybe one's behind a couch cushion. The next thing I used up is my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I quite like this. It was very moisturizing. It was sort of like another layer of moisturizer, but it sat really nicely under makeup. And I wanted to use this up particularly in winter because my skin is more dehydrated in winter, but also I'm less inclined to use this in summer. So this is completely done. It is empty now, which is great. Oh, there's like a, oh, look, looks like there's the tiniest bit left. There's this much left. This was one application. I could have used this, to be fair, but I'm going to use it as a hand cream. So this is done. I am introducing a new primer to replace that, and it is the Benefit Professional Hydrate Primer. Now, the reason I chose this, now this was completely full. I even had the little seal on it I had to pull off. So I've been using this now for the past week and a bit. And what I really like about it is it pairs really nicely with this foundation. So I'll talk about this foundation soon. I've had a few issues with this foundation because it balls up on my skincare and other primers. So I suspect that this is like a silicone-based foundation. I know the Professional range is a silicone-based primer. I wasn't quite sure about this hydrating one, but it does work really nicely together. And all of a sudden, this isn't sliding off my face as much during the day. I think it's actually sort of working well. So even though this was unopened, I could have kept it in my drawer for a lot longer. I feel like these are pairing really nicely. So that's what I'm going to weigh this and keep track of it. I also used up my Smashbox Primer Water. This is in the scent Water. So that is completely done. To replace that, I've decided to use up my MAC Fix Plus Magic Radiance. So this is pretty much the Fix Plus, but it's got vitamin C in it. And then I quite like this, but the spray is an absolute, and it's an assault. It is, I don't know if you can see this, but it is like It literally comes out in just one line. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually depotting some of this into the Smashbox bottle, because I know that I can get through that bottle fairly quickly. The problem is I don't like depotting the whole bottle because then I don't keep track on the original bottle, and there's something psychological about it that I don't like. So what I'll do is I'll just depot a little bit at a time and use it in the other bottle, because this bottle is horrible, and that's the main reason I want to focus on using this up, is just simply that I hate the bottle so much, and I want it done. So that is being introduced, and that is almost to the top, so it's up there, that little blue mark. I used up my Revlon Scandaleyes Kohl Kajal pencil in bronze. Now this one, it doesn't look like it's used up because it's quite big, but the lead has fallen out and broken, so it has no lead in it, so it's done. Now I did spend a couple of weeks trying to figure out what pencil to replace that with. I was using one that kept breaking. It was quite hard to sharpen, so I decided to toss that. I decided to settle on the Urban Decay. This is a 24/7 Glide-On eye pencil in Double Life, which is a nice shimmery bronze color. It's a little bit warmer. I like to use these sort of shimmery brown shades just to smudge on the lash line or to put in my sort of waterline. I don't like black in the waterline. So this I will take a photo of. It's been used, but it's not heavily used. And also what's good about it is a sharpenable one, which you tend to get through them pretty quickly. So as soon as you sharpen it, you start seeing progress pretty quickly, which is good for project panning. So that is replacing it. Last thing I used up was my Laura Geller powder. So this is a sort of a high coverage mineral powder. Now I will have a photo on the screen of where I was up to, but it is done. Now I enjoyed using this because I find on its own, it can look a little bit patchy, like it can sort of gather in areas and look a bit funny and be a little bit dry. But I do like it on lower coverage foundations. And the foundation I'm currently using isn't a super high coverage one. So if I want to wear this without concealer, I can just take a little bit of this on like a sponge, put it in the areas where I feel like I need a bit more coverage. And it sort of works as like a high coverage setting powder. So anyway, I use this up. What am I replacing this with? The same damn product, because apparently I bought two of them. So the problem is with Laura Geller, especially if you're in Australia, is that you have to buy them online and shipping is very expensive. But they do have sales fairly regularly that they're like 60% off and whatnot. So I think when I ordered, I was just like, oh, I've heard good things. I hope I love it. And I'm just going to order two because I'm not going to order again for the longest time or ever. So I ended up ordering two. So you can see that that is a domed product. It's a mineral product. And I'm just going to go through this like I did that. So I'm sort of in the habit of using it. So I just thought, even though this was unopened, I may as well open it up now and use it because I'm just in the routine of it. It's also really good for touching up because foundations like this, they can sort of wear down around my nose throughout the day. And if I've got an afternoon meeting or I want to film or something, it's much easier just getting a bit of powder and sort of just blotting and sort of adding a little bit more coverage back rather than, you know, doing the whole base product thing again. Let's talk about this foundation. How am I going with it? Well, I don't mind it. I've actually used quite a lot. So that's where I was up to. That's what I'm down to. I'm hoping that means that by next check-in, especially if it's a full month and not like 3 weeks, I'm hoping I'll use this up. This is quite a good color match for me, and it is a nice amount of coverage, but it's not like it's a nice amount all over the face, but then there are areas where I definitely need more coverage. So around the eyes, around the nose, chin, I definitely need more coverage, which is not that big a deal. What I am having issues with is it doesn't last all day on me. It can clash, like I said, with things underneath it. I've sort of solved that a little bit with that Benefit Primer, but I have noticed that with the concealer that I'm using in this project pan, these are quite different colors. Like hopefully you can see. One is a lot lighter, which is fine. I can deal with that. But it's also quite more yellow toned, which I didn't quite realize until I started realizing that by the end of the day, the concealer is left on me. The foundation is sort of worn off. and I end up looking like I've got yellow patches because I do have a bit of redness in my skin that I like to correct. So the concealer keeps the sort of corrected sort of color, and then everything else starts looking a bit pink. So it's a bit odd. So they don't look all that good together, but I don't think this is going to be in my project ban for too much longer because I'm making some really good progress. But also this concealer is likely not going to be in my project for too long because I'm making really good progress. I recently took out the stopper and the wand is still pretty dry. So there's a chunk of product down the bottom that I'm going to have to get a spatula out and sort of move it up in the tube so I can access it. But I thought this was going to last me so long because it's really high coverage, but apparently I've been using it at an alarming rate and I'm nearly done. So I think I've only got about a month left of this. And if I wanted to be lazy and not access the bottom part, which again is probably only like a small amount, then I could say it's done now because this, I could barely get a full application out of it. But I feel like I can get a little bit more and I will. So this one, making really good progress. I'll have weights on the screen of where I was up to last month versus this month. And I've kept the stopper so I can weigh that as well so we can have an accurate weighing. Let's wrap up the base products. I've got my two powders from Laura Mercier. So these are the loose setting powder and the loose setting powder glow. Now I mix these two together, more like a 2-to-1 ratio. So I'm using them up at different rates, which is a bit annoying, but I mix them into this and I use this as a sort of setting, slightly glowy powder. I'll have weights on the screen of how much I have left of these. Now, when I say that, I still have product left in this that I've mixed, but I'm tracking it based on how much I take out of this. So there's a bit of a delay with what I'm actually using and the progress, if that makes sense. But I just found that it was the easiest way to track it. This I'm getting a little bit less usage out of because I am using that sort of high coverage baked one, but they're both getting progress, so I can't complain. It is what it is. Let's talk about some colored face products so we can look at some pan action if there is any. The main thing that I've made some good progress with is my MAC Glow Play blush in the shade That's Peachy. I'm wearing it today with the highlighter on, so I don't know if you can see with this lighting that it's like the sun's going down, it's late in the afternoon, but I've got this like peachy blush on with highlighter over the top. It's this blush, and if you want to have a look, I know the lighting's not the best, so I will have photos on the screen, but previously I'd hit pan on this, but if you'd move the pan, like the product back into place, the pan will completely disappear. And I can theoretically still do that, but I think the pan is now worth it, if that makes sense. It's not just like moved out of place as I've been accessing it. I've been using enough of it that there's a huge dip in it, which is really good. So I really like the effect of this. I am struggling a little bit. I think the base products I've been using, again, have been fighting it a little bit. So sometimes if I put this on, it sort of doesn't mesh super well with the skin. Again, I think I'm blaming the foundation. That's the only thing I can think makes sense, but I do really like the effect of this. It's very pretty. I also have been using my Natasha Denona Bloom Blush and Glow palette. This one I don't have much progress on, I don't think. Again, I'll have to have photos on the screen. The shade I use the most is this one down here. It gives a really beautiful sort of peachy, pinky gold flush to the cheeks. It is like a color and also a highlighter in one. So it's like a one and done product. I do occasionally use this highlighter shade. I do feel like once I've used this up and I'm using more of a flat finish blush without that sort of beautiful gold sheen, I'll use a bit more of this. I think I've delved into the cream products only a couple of times. For me, these are a little bit balmy. They are very pretty, but they're not something that I can use sort of every day. I have to sort of make a little bit more effort to use them. But it's sort of hard having multiple blushes in one project because blush is notoriously hard to use up. My Kevyn Aucoin Neo Highlighter Palette. I have used up this a little bit. I've been making an effort to try to incorporate this into my look simply because I want it done. This was a highlighter. I've turned it into a bronzer because the color I have left out of the sort of ombre effect was the bronze. It's been repressed over the time and whatnot, and it's been used up quite a lot. I've been sort of even taking this down my neck because I find that sometimes the foundation that I'm wearing tends to oxidize a little bit throughout the day. So if I then want to match a little bit, I'll bring it down my neck. So I know I have been making progress because I think this was down around there last time. So I'll have photos on the screen. But that one I'm really hoping to be done next month. This is also broken, like the hinge is broken. It's just a mess. So this has to go. It has to go. I've been using my custom Too Faced palette quite a lot. I think I have, look, there's no pans that I've hit at the moment. Probably the closest I have is maybe this one down here. There's a nice dip in it. Now, last time I was using that middle shade quite a lot, which is more of a rosy shade, but I have sort of switched to this one and that one simply because I'm using this paint pot, which I'll show you in a minute, and it does have that gold shimmer, which throughout the day, if your eyeshadow starts to wear down a little bit, you can see the gold shimmer coming through. And so it works really well with sort of more of the warm shades. So those are the two that I've been wearing the most. But I also reviewed a Glaminatrix palette last month, which means that I spent a good week or so focusing just on that. So this one has been neglected a little bit, but I have been enjoying using it, and hopefully if I'm strategic about where I dip my brush, which I haven't been, I can get maybe some good pan happening over the next month or two. Let's talk about the MAC paint pot. So this is Born to Beam. I did say when I introduced this that I've tested it and it doesn't really show through. That's not the case. I find that increasingly as I use it, especially if I put it on with a brush like fairly boldly, it does come through. It's very pretty though. So it comes through with this like golden speckle, like sparkle that's coming through your eye look. But it just means that I have to be favoring shades that complement that, if that makes sense. So today I'm using this, which looks gorgeous. When I just use that, like it just catches a light, looks gorgeous. It's not a bold color. It's sort of sheer with gold sparkle through it, which is really nice. It's not something I want to wear every day. It's very yellow gold. But again, if I pair it with something that's a little bit softer, it can be really pretty. So today I am pairing it with this shade, and I'm also using this dark brown to blend it out and cool it down a little bit. So yeah, I like it. It's not something I'd repurchase because again, it's sort of a bit garishly gold for me, but I'll have progress on the screen because I did weigh this when I introduced it last month. The highlighter I'm wearing today is one that I don't wear too often, even though it's gorgeous and I love it, and it's Nabla. I think it's called Ozone. It is all scratched off the back, but it is beautiful. So this is one of those sort of baked gelée highlighters, and this shade is just like a really nice soft champagne. Goes with every look. It just gives that gorgeous wet look effect. So this is the highlighter. It is stunning. I can wear it on my eyes. It's a little bit light for me, but it's beautiful. I think I've only used it like 3 or 4 times because I've been using other stuff, but it is stunning and I really enjoy it every time I use it, so that's good. Okay, let's talk about lip products, the 2 remaining ones that I can find. So the ones that I've lost, there's the Revlon lip oil, which I thought I'd nearly finished. Like I was so excited to be like, that is what I'm panning, it is done. And I actually thought that potentially I did pan it and I threw it in my empties box, but I had a quick rummage and I couldn't find it. So that one is almost done. That's a really frustrating one because it doesn't actually last, and also I feel like it dries out my lips. So that one I don't like, see ya. If I never come across that one again, I don't care. Another one that I have lost, which I think is much sadder, and I know it's going to be in a pocket somewhere, so I haven't like turfed this one because it's really good, is that e.l.f. Happy Lip Core Hydrating thing. That is really lovely and I do miss that. That is one that I'd potentially repurchase, just putting it out there. And then the last one that I have misplaced, but it's one that I remember using in the last week, is my Hourglass Confession lipstick in that sort of reddy sort of berry color. That one I'm making decent progress on. I think it's the first month where I've actually consistently used it. I just don't know where it is. So the ones that I still have in my hot little hands, I have my Jouer Amaryllis. This is like some lip balm thing. It is okay. I'm not wearing it today, but it gives a nice brown sort of effect. But I did explain, I think last time, that I find this one to be a little bit messy. So it can look really nice when you apply it, but if you're not looking in the mirror and you over apply it, it can really go over your lip line and can look a bit funny. Also, if I'm not wearing makeup, this color makes my teeth look really yellow. If I'm wearing makeup and it's all together, it looks fine. But on my just bare skin, which again is a little bit pink toned, this toffee color can make my teeth look yellow. So this I can't wear just like when I'm dropping my kid off at kinder or something. I've got to have makeup on to make this work. But anyway, I'll have update photos on the screen. Hopefully there's some progress because I have been wearing it. Now, do we remember a couple months ago I introduced Pat McGrath lip balm. This is in the shade Flesh Fantasy. I forgot about this last check-in and I found it in a drawer and I was like, that's right, I introduced it in my project pan and I didn't make any progress on it because I forgot all about it. Well, now that I have lost my other lip products, I've been pulling this out. I'm wearing it today. It is a nice, it's a little bit gluggy, but it also looks nice and feels nice. And it's not like that stringy gluggy, but it's quite thick. But it is a nice sort of browny rosy tone and very glossy, very pretty. Happy to wear this. So this is sort of like my go-to at the moment. But again, I only rediscovered this maybe 2 weeks ago and realized that it was in my project pan. So I'll have weights on the screen, but if there's not much progress, it's because I've just realized that it's in my project pan. I've been using my Benefit Foolproof brow powder quite a lot. There is actually a bit of a dent in the middle bit. So I promised myself that I wanted to target one spot instead of running my sort of applicator all along because I wasn't seeing any progress doing it that way. So I will have to have some photos on the screen, but there's definitely a dent in there and I'm happy. I quite like this. It works and I've sort of got the hang of making this sort of my daily brow product, which is good. So there we go. And sometimes when I'm going out, I will use my Benefit 24-hour brow setter to set that because it is a powder, not like a gel or a pencil that's got a bit of grip. Sometimes I feel like I need to brush through something just to sort of hold it on. Now this, there are days where I use it, days where I don't. I feel like there's going to be some progress. It doesn't feel like there's much left in there, but it's very hard to gauge. Obviously when I open the wand, there's plenty of product there, but it's feeling a lot lighter than what I remember. And then the last two things, I've got my Soap & Glory Super Cat liquid black eyeliner pen. Realistically, I think I've used this only 3 or 4 times, probably not much. I do love to have a black, whether it's a black liner, gel liner, liquid liner, pencil liner, whatever. I like to have a black that I will occasionally use, like if I'm filming or going out or whatever. But again, that might be once a week. So I like to have one in, but I don't see heaps of progress. There'll be weights on the screen of this. And then lastly is another product that I could consider done because this is getting really dry, and to use it up, I'm like scraping the sides. It's my mascara. This is the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift Extra Black. I really like this. I have spoken about it many times, but essentially you need to sort of let it dry out a little bit to really enjoy it. I found the first couple of weeks of using this, there was too much product being taken out on the wand and my lashes were really clumpy. Whereas now it's beautiful. I really love it. I love the effect. It is getting very dry though. So I could call it and say, this is done. Let's introduce a new one. But I do feel like there's at least a good week or 2, maybe more. It also means that I'll have progress next month if I hold off on a few things like the concealer and the mascara. So anyway, that's how I'm going with my project pan. I feel like life is a little bit shambles at the moment. Car's broken. We've had some construction sort of happening at home. So things have just been sort of a little bit tumultuous. So I feel like I've done really well considering. But the fact that there's a few things missing is really like, it's irritating me. There's part of me that's like, Kat, what are you doing? Where are they? How can you lose 3 lip products? I don't know. I've looked high and low. Anyway, that's my life at the moment. But that is my project pan update for August. Let me know how you're going with your project pan. Are you making great progress? What's your favorite thing to pan? What's really annoying you? What's really annoying me? I think what's really annoying me is that Kevyn Aucoin sort of bronzing thing because it's just been kicking around for so long and I can see the end of it. but it's just, I feel like it's never ending. So that's probably what's annoying me the most. But it is what it is. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'll be filming my sheet mask project pan very soon, and also an empties, because I've got a big tub of empties just gathering dust under my desk. So those will be my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my members for supporting this channel, and I'll see you hopefully in the next one. Bye.